The major benefit of the K method is that its price formulas deliver true leverage, including all items of a purchasing category. Once a price formula with its specification pricing is agreed between the buyer and the supplier, the prices of all the items of a purchasing category can be recalculated using respective volumes. Now, comparing the total purchasing cost using the price formula should not yield an increased cost when comparing with current and traditional prices. If so, the supplier has not sharpened his pencil well enough and tries to cash in a benefit for himself in the transition to the K method. Once the total portfolio costs are equal or lower than the previous total cost of that purchasing category, items with highest individual volumes can now be compared on an individual basis with their previous prices. They might now be more expensive than previously because under traditional pricing those items normally carry very aggressive prices, as they are used by buyers for supplier selection. In return, the other items using the price formula will be cheaper than previously quoted. It is now the target of negotiation to adjust the prices in the price formula in such a way that prices for high-volume items don't increase in course of the introduction of a price formula. If this is achieved, all other items will reap the benefit of this effort and will have lower prices than they had previously. They will still be more expensive than the big volume items because the setup price is spread over a small amount of pieces, but they will be cheaper than previously, as only now the full leverage, including all volumes, is also secured for those medium and low volume items. Typical tenders for a packaging material purchasing category are made by sending out a catalog of specifications to qualified suppliers. This is an enormous data exercise for the buyer as well as for each of suppliers. With the price formulas of the K method, only one sheet needs to be filled in by the supplier, and the buyer can run the benchmark using a basket of products which he doesn't even need to disclose to the suppliers. Hence, a tender can be conducted very fast with very little effort. Traditional tenders only cover the specifications used in products actively sold at the moment of the tender. It is the nature of the tender that the supplier with the lowest prices will win it. However, due to the similarity of machines installed at various suppliers, the probability is very high that the tender is won by the supplier who is prepared to produce at the lowest margin. Hence, after the tender, he will try to trim his margin back to standard levels. The easiest way to do so is to overprice any new specifications which are outside of the set of specifications used in the tender. Typically, the tender will include a single supply situation for a time period for a purchasing category or a purchasing subcategory. The supplier will therefore be the single supplier in this time period and will not fear competition when it comes to new or changed specifications. Using the K method, the price formula will ensure that even future specifications, which are not known at the time of the tender, will also enjoy the low price level of the tender. And it's therefore impossible for the supplier to charge excess prices for these future materials. In this way, the K method will ensure sustainable prices even when the specifications are changed. Once a price formula has been agreed between the buyer and the supplier, this price formula can be provided to the product development process in order to support the marketing department during launches and relaunches. Every possible packaging scenario can be calculated using finally negotiated prices without consulting the supply function and consequently the supplier. Especially for promotions, this is a very handy feature which will make the promotion process much faster than it is currently. Changing specification of an item will often trigger a price change of that item. However, as production constraints kick in, some specification changes may result in unexpected high on-cost when certain thresholds are passed. In example, a printing machine which can print a maximum of 8 colors at a time will require 2 runs when 9 colors are specified. Hence, an additional color from 7 colors to 8 colors will be offered at reasonable on-cost, while the increase from 8 colors to 9 colors will make the item very expensive. Moving then from 9 colors to 10 colors is again not such a big deal anymore. There are several constraints, like the number of colors, which can be directly derived from the price formula. Knowing these thresholds helps to optimize the specification of a packaging item during a value analysis exercise, which optimizes the value delivered to the final customer in relation to the cost required to produce that value. A similar problem as finding threshold specifications in a value analysis is the general translation of specification changes to purchasing prices. Very often these specification changes are part of a profit improvement project which have the target to increase margins of a product. While formulation changes automatically yield to the respective product cost, specification changes of the packaging are difficult to access during a project. These savings always need to be confirmed by the supplier by respective price decreases. Using price formulas, these specification changes automatically yield in reduced prices for packaging materials, and the project team can work always using final negotiated prices with every specification scenario.